Welcome! Full disclosure, I'm not wearing any pants.
In today's episode, we'll cover important questions such as: will Isaac Newton ever solve world hunger? Will Albert Einstein find his long-lost hot dog? And will Benjamin Franklin ever be president? Answer to these questions and more will be no. To get to Livid Farm, you will have to make your way to the Lunar Isle. To get there, you have to complete the Lunar Diplomacy Quest. It's not too hard to complete, it just takes a little bit. While you're there, activate the lodestone so that you can use the home network teleport like I am now. Once at Livid Farm, you're basically just making produce for Pauline by fertilising the soil, healing diseased livids, fixing the fence, and finally bundling up the harvested livids and depositing them in the trailer. Now, my layout, I grab a mud staff because it acts as earth and water runes, and then I get any skill-based boosting equipment. So as you can see, I'm wearing the artisans and farming gear, but if you have any construction stuff as well, you can chuck that on. Next, you want to make sure that you've got some astral runes, some nature runes. You've got to have quite a few of those. Grab out some cosmic runes, and then we'll grab out some mind runes. Next, we will grab some law runes, and then finally we'll get to death runes. Alright, so once you've got all the runes you need, you do have to activate the Lunar Spellbook. So head off to where you make astral runes and pray at the astral rune altar, and that will activate your spellbook. Now, there is a world for Livid Farm, and it is world 124. But really there's no need to go onto that world. Everyone's kind of too busy doing Livid Farm to really chat, so you can do it on any world that you like. Make sure you are high enough level so that you don't get too hurt by these suckers. Once you have prayed at the altar, make sure you just check to make sure that the spellbook did activate. Now, you can use the lodestone to get back to Lunar Isle if you like, otherwise you can just run to Livid Farm. It's just basically the same spot. There's no speed benefit to it, it's just whether you want to do it or not, you're welcome to. I prefer to run. So when you walk into Livid Farm, you can see at the top there you get produce points that appear. Now, we're fertilising the soil, and that's just so that it becomes fertilised for more livids. Grab some planks as well. The planks, we use those to make the fence, so we just change them into lunar lumber. Now, you can just single left click on the inventory and that'll create anything you need. Go, so fix both those fences. And then I'll finalize this round. So I've come in mid-round here. So and here we go. So this is the beginning of a round. So you start by healing livids. So you can just do that by left clicking on them as well. And you will get an option to choose out of 4. So when you do it a bit more, you'll get used to it. There is no penalty for choosing the wrong one. Alright, and then choosing the correct one heals the livid. Now, you'll see Pauline's head does drop. When she does that, just encourage her. Just choose the most encouraging option. It's generally pretty easy and straightforward on which one to choose. And then I'll show you how to bundle the livid soon when they become available. So you do get a bunch of rewards. A lot of them are spells here. When you make the required produce points, then you do unlock the spells in order. It doesn't cost any produce points until you get to the very last spell, which is Borrowed Power. Borrowed Power will cost you 850,000 produce points, but then after that you've got all of the spells, and then you can start moving into the wishes. So the wishes are pretty straightforward. Alright, so the things that get you your produce points, obviously the fertilizing, and here's the list here. It's very important to note that you can still do all of it Even if you don't have the required magic level, you just won't get any magic experience and only half the produce points. Alright, and then to bundle up the livids, you can click string jewelry and it'll automatically do it, or similar to lunar lumber, you can just left click from the inventory. Left click on this trailer here and then we deposit it. So I'm going to run through a few quick rounds here and just go through a couple of stages. So that's doing everything: healing livids, fertilizing, fixing the fence, encouraging and depositing the livids into the trailer. And then we'll move on to the distractions. So the distractions that we have are the ibis, the sucker, and then also we've got Murky Pat, or as I like to call him, Murky Pete, and he'll come on and then I'll show you how to do those. So I'll speak to you again in a moment. Alright, so we're going to have the ibis come up now. It is very straightforward. When the ibis comes up, you just need to left click on the ibis to diagnose. You can also right click, left click, but again, it's whatever works for you. Now up here, we're going to see that the ibis has blistered feet. So then we just chat here and we choose blistered feet. And then what do we know? They know the remedy to fix blistered feet. And then we get a couple of runes as our reward, and then we can move on. Distractions just kind of break up Livid Farm a little bit because it can be quite boring and repetitive doing the same thing over and over again. So it just kind of splits it up. But as you can see, doing the distractions doesn't really take out any time, and it shouldn't interrupt your normal routine. And you can get them done still fairly easily. Moving on to the giant sucker now. So this giant sucker will come in and attack Pauline from time to time. This one is quite simple. You can kind of do this one at any time. I prefer to get the livids and the fertilizing out of the way, get those sorted, and then we can move on. The sucker is nice and easy to deal with. All you need to do is just right click on Pauline and press encourage. And there you go, and then she'll start to fight back on the sucker. That's all you need to do. The sucker will eventually leave. Alright, and now we have Murky Pat. Murky Pat's probably the longest distraction on Livid Farm. I don't disrupt my routine to do Murky Pat, so I complete the full round of Livid Farm and then I move on to Murky Pat. So my one bit of advice for him is just to make sure that you read what he's having a chat about, and then obviously pay close attention, and then when we cast Vengeance Other on him, it has to really have something to do with what he's chatting about. So here he's talking about the Lunar Isle monsters. So when we cast Vengeance Other on him, we choose the Lunar Isle monsters, and then he will reward you, and you get that done just in time to make sure that you're ready for the next round, so you can stock up on lunar lumber if you need to, and then you're good to go to start your round again. Alright guys, and that's it. So if you've enjoyed this video, click subscribe, like, give me a comment, but if that's all, goodbye for now.